I'm adding a second video to the one I just posted because I want to bring up another point. God understands that we have difficulty praying, but He calls us to do it anyway. And there is a real internal struggle when it comes to taking time out to be disciplined enough to pray. It feels at times like you are being pulled in completely separate directions. Like one side of you is getting pulled this way with God saying, come spend time with me, pray, I'm calling you into prayer. And then this other side of you is thinking like, okay, I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear that because I really don't feel like praying right now. I don't feel like praying. I feel like there's a wall up that that I can't break through. Like, I don't know. There are times when like I know He's calling me to pray, but inside myself I feel like in those times it's not that I don't want to, because even my spirit wants to, but my flesh does not. It is completely two different, getting pulled in two different separate directions. One by your spirit and the Spirit of God, and one by your flesh and the enemy. Okay, so at times it's like you can feel God calling you into prayer, but you ignore it and you go do something else because it is so difficult to get it done sometimes. It's just so difficult. And why is it difficult? Like, I'm talking right now, it's not that difficult to talk, but to sit down and actually have focused prayer is sometimes very, very difficult. And I think a lot of that has to do with the feelings that the enemy uses against us to keep us from praying. Okay, so when God is calling us into prayer, the enemy can see that, and he then comes to combat that, and he starts putting these feelings on us like, no, you're too exhausted to pray right now, or no, you really don't have anything to say to God. What are you going to pray about? Or he'll say that you don't have time, there's something else going on. I mean, I even get to the point where I'm like, I just can't handle it. I just can't handle it right now. I cannot handle praying right now. And in those moments, it is when God is calling you to pray and you have these things that are pulling you away from that. It is the enemy pulling you away, because he knows when in those moments that God is calling you to pray, there is a reason why God is calling you to pray. There's a reason. It is because He either has something for you, or He has some movement that he wants you to be a part of. And He has work that He wants you to be a part of, to partner with Him in. And if He's calling you because He has something for you directly, the enemy doesn't want you to have that. He doesn't want you to have that. So he's going to put all these feelings inside of you like, no, I'm too busy. No, don't have the energy. I'm too exhausted. I don't know what to say. Again, I'm going to say this again, from like the previous video, Romans 8, I believe. It says the Spirit will help us pray. The Spirit will help us pray. When we don't know what to pray, when we don't know how to pray, the Spirit will help us pray. We just got to choose to follow God's leading. When He's calling us to pray, we need to choose to follow it. And He knows, man, like, I am telling the truth. It is hard. It is so hard. It's so hard sometimes. I don't want to do it. But there is blessing in consistency, and there is blessing in our devotion to God, and in our choice to ignore our own fleshly feelings and the temptations of the enemy to put it off, and to actually answer the call when he is calling us. When we answer the call, there's a blessing in that. There's a blessing in that. There's a blessing for us and for whoever he is calling us to pray about. Because his word does not return to him void. We have to realize that sometimes, we are being manipulated by the enemy. God is calling us for a purpose. He's calling us to help us, to, bless us. And he's calling us to partner with him in a magnificent work that he's doing. And we are being manipulated by the evil one who wants to keep us from it, who wants to keep us from having what God has for us. And so he'll put these feelings of being exhausted. I don't have the energy to pray right now. I don't feel like praying. I'm just sharing this with you because this is what I've been dealing with lately. It is so difficult. It is so difficult lately. And I think the Lord is trying to show me that I need to be more consistent in this area, and that these feelings are not of him, they're of the enemy manipulating me out of what God has for me. Manipulating me out of what God has for me. Trying to make me not answer the call, ignoring the call, so that I don't get what God has for me. It's one of the ways Satan steals from us. He steals it right away from us by manipulating our feelings. Okay, I'm going to name this video number 2. And if God gives me more, I'll do another one. But I think this is it for now. I love you guys.